the visa that is in the offering for you guys, and you are all ready to go for your visa sooner or later, this month or early next month. It depends on what kind of dates you have taken. Now, first of all, even before the dates are taken, I think you need to be mentally prepared for the visa. Frankly, that you have chosen to study in the US, this was a decision that you made it yourself. We as counselors, your parents, and on your teachers, everybody just supported the cause. So I don't see why you should not be able to handle the visa yourself. Frankly, instead of praying, wishing, and hoping and trusting that your visa will be done, you should bring, first of all, there is a lot of psychological preparation more than the physical preparation of getting your papers together or your finances together. I think you need to be mentally more prepared for this. That is the first and the foremost thing that you need to be preparing for this great day. Now, if you ask me, this visa is just a procedure. It is just, if you are a deserving student, it is just a formality to be completed. And if you are not a deserving student, then this is the most, the toughest part of the whole game. And it is not going to happen. Try however you want. So, actually, the visa is a formality, and so it is very important that you find yourself deserving. So how do you put yourself as a deserving candidate? How do you call yourself a deserving candidate? A deserving candidate will be good in his academics, or I'll tell you, even that is not important. You may have been an average student, but if you have the sincere purpose to really take this masters, you are called a deserving student. So when you go to the visa counter, the visa officer has only two categories, honestly. It is, one is the deserving candidate, one is the not deserving candidate. So he is going to, because to his counter comes numerous students. You may be a very, very honest student, but to his counter comes dishonest students also, who are in the guise of a student, meaning who have disguised themselves. They have other plans, but since the F1 visa gives them an opportunity to stay longer, they may have planned to take a student visa, go to the other side and do something else. So the visa officer is a checkpoint there to check out whether you are one of the genuine ones or you are not a genuine one. So according to him, he will administer the visa without any prejudice of caste, creed, sex, nationality. Only one thing is important for him, that is whether you are genuine. This is what you have to keep in mind while you are preparing for the visa. See, if you are a good student, and this whole process started out of the need to take a master's or take your PhD or take your MBA or take your undergraduate degree, if it has started from a need, then you are a deserving student. If it is something like you have your uncle there and your uncle is saying, come over here, this is very nice, you study here, even if you're not ready to go, if he forces you to go, then there is no need, you are forced to go. So it may or may not happen. That is why, if the student has initiated, if you have initiated the whole thing yourself someday, 1 year back or 2 years back or whatever, then I think you are a deserving student. So you know what happened, you know the sequence of events that happened after that. You know, when you searched your GRE, how to take the GRE. You searched how to do, what to do for the TOEFL. You searched your counselor. You searched you spoke to your parents about your plans. You had a big discussion on that. They agreed, disagreed, and finally maybe your father said, okay, go ahead and try. Let's see what happens. So it was initiated somewhere and you were 100% involved in it. So if you have been there from that stage, then you found out a counselor like a Saraswati or whatever, and then you went to her, she helped you, and or he helped you to find good schools for yourself. You have been admitted, and then you are now ready with your, then the financial papers were sent, and now you are ready to go for your visa. So this is absolutely like solving a rider, my friends. If the steps are correct, then the answer is going to be correct. Just as you do in a rider, if your steps are correct, the answer is correct. So this is exactly the same way. If you have done your things right, then you are going to get the right answer, and the right answer is a visa approved. So this is what you, and so the most important thing that you need to remember is to respect yourself. Don't play an underdog. Don't think you don't deserve it and she is obliging you by giving you the visa. Actually, he will give the visa only to people whom he knows are good, meaning they respect themselves. So see, imagine my friends, how many amongst the student community are good engineers and how many of them have got the opportunity to go for an MS and how many of them have got admitted to good schools like you have. So you are already lucky. So if you respect yourself and you don't play an underdog, when you play an underdog, what happens is you feel you are nothing and others are only obliging you by doing things for you. Well, that is not the case. You are good. That's why a good school has admitted you. If you believe you are good, then you are confident. So respect yourself first. Unnecessarily, don't try to please others. Don't try to please the officer. Just give correct answers. And remember, you have to give. So he is going to ask you basic questions like what is your GRE? How many applications did you make? How many admits did you get? Why did you choose this college? Who is going to fund your education? And so on and so forth. So these are very basic questions. Say just as basic question like your name, your father's name, your mother's name, your date of birth, and what percentage did you make in your BE or whatever. So do you think you need a record to or a person to help you in these answers? So if you need if you need help in answering these questions, then then the answers are not true answers, because truth needs no support. You can handle these answers yourself. You don't need support to give, basic facts to the officer. Therefore, what is important is sit back and introspect. Introspect as to what all happened from the day you thought of going abroad. What all happened? What did you do? So if you can just recollect all those very sequentially, you're ready to give the visa interview. Honestly, he's going to ask you these questions. So the only care that you need to take is you can be as natural as possible. You can be as extempore as possible. You should be impromptu, meaning on the spot answers. You should not try to mug up any answer or talk to your friends and relatives and find out what questions they were asked or go to the blogs and read about others' experiences. These are misguides. They will actually misguide you because no two cases are the same. Never, even if if your twin brother has gone through the visa a few days back and you want to go for the visa today, I think you should not even ask him what he was asked and what were his answers, because Even if you're twin brothers, the cases are different. You are going to individually handle it. So you need to understand your case yourself. So if you, and then only thing you have to remember is you need to give smart, intelligent answers. So he is there to to see whether you are genuinely interested in studies and whether you are, you know, you are, you know what you're getting into. This is exactly what he is trying to understand from you. So if he asks you questions like, why do you want to study in Northeastern University? So, you know, people, sometimes I find the students so silly. They say, I want to study in Northeastern University because it is a very good school. It is amongst the top ranks in America. And, you know, it is very good for computer science. And they have exactly the program that I want. Well, he is seeing you for the last 2 seconds. How can he know what exactly do you want? So what you have to do is you have to actually, you know, talk about yourself. Don't talk generic things. He can read that. Many a times the visa officer actually cuts the student and says, I know all that. You talk about yourself. So now, so what you have to do is you have to talk, sir, I have been working for the last 2 years, or whatever the case may be. I have been working for the last 2 years and I realized that the present education is not going to support me too far now. So I need specialization. That is where the need to do a master's comes from. Northeastern University has got courses in database management, artificial intelligence, whatever you want to specialize in. And that is what attracted me to your university, to Northeastern University. Give them specific reasons for your, this is a professional choice that you are doing. So you have to give them the reason why you have chosen this particular university. Do not talk about Professor so and so, Ching Mang Lu, is working on artificial intelligence and I would like to work under him. So the visa officer again is irritated. He's like, have you been interacting with him? No, sir, I have not been interacting. Then why do you name this particular professor? Is it not wrong? Now remember, my friends, you were in a college doing your bachelor's. Suppose you are a student of the computer science department. Now, is it necessary that all the professors who are in the computer science department has taught you? No. So one of them will be given one subject per year to teach you. So you are not very sure which professor is going to teach you when. So how can you name the professors when you really don't know whether they are going to come and teach you in your class when you go to that school? So this again irritates the visa officer, and he knows that you are lying. You are just talking for the heck of it. Getting me? So that way, you need to be very professional and correct in your answers. If you give wrong answers, sometimes you will not believe. He knows you are wrong and yet he accepts it. Because for him, he ignores many things about you. He only wants to understand whether you are genuine or not. But believe me, see, when I am in my office, I see lot of students every day. So when some students come and meet me and leave the room, I think to myself that this student should come to me again and join me. So I want him rather than he wants me, because he's so good and I literally take a liking for that student. And when some other students come and leave, I feel, no, I don't want to handle this student. Even if he wants to come and join me, I don't want to handle this student. So this is what we're human beings. So remember, the other person there is also a human being. So when he is interviewing you, he should feel that, wow, a very good student is going to America. That should be the feeling. You should leave a good taste for him when you leave the counter. So you present yourself in the most professional way and let it look like a conversation rather than a dialogue, you know. You should not. So only when you believe in yourself, you will be able to become, you will be comfortable with yourself and you will be able to talk. So imagine you are going to talk to someone who is trying to give you a job or something, and you can be friendly. There is no need to be, you know, tight and upright and, you know, just answer to the point, nothing like that. So whatever you are going to tell is the truth. So what is there, if you can elaborate a bit and tell about it, that will give him the sense, a complete sense of what you're trying to say, and he will be able to take a decision. So remember, he is there and he is judging you. He is judging you. He is not going to look at the papers. Looking at the papers means, you know, doubting you. For example, if you say to me, ma'am, I got a 72% in my engineering, and I quickly say, show me, what does it convey? It conveys that I am doubting you. I can't believe what you're saying, so I want to check it out in black and white. So these visa officers respect you for what you are, and they will never come to check your documents, because checking means, you know, doubting. So they will never check your documents. What they say is, in your welfare, you tell the truth. So if you don't tell the truth now, maybe you will pass this counter and go ahead. But somewhere in the future, if you get stuck, you will get stuck royally. And there will be no way out, and you will be deported in the most, you know, humiliated way. So that is what they say. When there is an opportunity to tell the truth, please tell the truth, because truth is, you know, eternal. Today, 20 years later, 40 years later, it will remain the same. So you don't have to keep checking whether everything is fine, everything is going to be fine, because when you tell the truth, there is nothing, you don't have to remember those things. Again, you can tell the truth after 20 years also, it will remain the same. Therefore, he is going to judge you on what you are going to talk to him. So you talk best of things possible without straying from truth. Okay? Without straying from truth. You should not move away from truth. For example, if your father has retired and you want to talk to the officer about this. So he's asking you a question. What does your father do? Now, if you give an answer, my father is retired. Now, that will put him in a, you know, he will become anxious, because he will be like, okay, retire ho gaya to paisa kidhar se aayega? So, on the contrary, the same fact can be told in a different way. You can say, my father was a senior manager in State Bank of India and he retired in 2012. Now he is on his own. He is doing some consultancy, or he is taking rest, whatever you want to say. But I have an elder brother who is also working, so my family will fund me. Isn't that a better answer? So that is called a complete answer. Okay? So this will make the visa officer comfortable. Instead of putting, you know, he'll become anxious if you just stop at my father has retired. So if you say he was working, so it gives the officer an idea that retirement funds may be available, plus also the family savings may be available, plus the brother is earning, so he will also be able to support the family, as the case may be. Whatever is your case, you have to talk to your counselor properly, and you have to talk right. That is important. For example, now again another question. What does your father do? My father is a businessman. Now businessman to wo chana wala bhi hai, isn't it? So, if you can elaborate, my father is a mechanical engineer and he has a workshop, or he is into manufacturing of so and so, or my father is a chemical engineer and he runs a 100 crore business, a company which has a turnover of 100 crores. So you give him the size of the business. So he knows that, okay, here is something. So he may not even go to the next question. If he gets convincing answers from you, he will not even go to the next question probably. That is how your answers should be. So when you give complete answers, again, if he talks to you about the GRE, why is your GRE low? You can, you cannot give him answers like, I don't know, sir. That day was, I think it was very sad day for me. Nothing like that. I'm sorry, sir. I understand it is low and I should have worked a little harder, I realize. See what a beautiful answer this is. See, so you own it up instead of blaming everything on the weather and the outsiders. Getting me? So this is how you have to talk. So give facts as facts, crystal clear. Whatever you talk, it should be crystal clear. There should be no ambiguity. There should be no, he should not be confused about what you're trying to say. So that shows that you're really prepared. So he will be irritated that this fellow has taken a date and doesn't know what to do coming here. Let him go back. करके आपका visa reject करने का chances है. So that is exactly. So if you are confident, I tell you, believe me, my friends, whether, see, every student has some low. There is no one who is perfect 100. I must tell you this. So if your GRE is low, some other person's TOEFL may be low. The third person's finances may be low. The fourth person, some other KTs may be more. Some problem or the other is there with everyone. Believe me, if they are going to check everything and give you the visa, probably they will get one or two students from the whole of India. Therefore, relax. Whatever is your problem, he will still consider you very holistically. He's not going to look at one fact and give you the visa or refuse the visa. He will ask questions till he is convinced that you are a good student. It may be one single question, it may be 10 questions, it may be 20 questions. But from what I know, the visa is more like a breeze. 20 seconds में वो फैसला लेता है. Sometimes you see, before you even start, he sees the name of the school. Okay, he sees the name of the school. Suppose you are selected by a G-Tech or a UCLA or something like that, he may not even go to the next question because he knows that the due diligence is over. The checking is all over. Unless you were academically good, GRE is good, finance were sent, this I-20 wouldn't have arrived and you wouldn't have been there in front of him. So he knows it all. So why should he go for the checking again? That is his. So sometimes you must have heard your friends, कुछ भी नहीं पूछा रे, I-20 लिया, passport लिया, I-20 वापस दिया और मेरे को बोला जा. So this is what happens. So he understands there is nothing that the visa officer actually sees your file before you come to the counter and takes a decision. Nothing like that. Honestly, he sees you that minute when you are coming to the counter, and he takes your I-20 and types you will see him typing always. He types the SEVIS number and he scans your passport. Then all the information about you will come from the school side. The SEVIS is nothing but the portal where all your information is stored in the US consulate. So it is the school to which you have applied or you are trying to go will upload all the documents, financial documents, academic documents, GRE, TOEFL, everything they will upload and give it to the US immigration services people before you go. So they will tell that probably this fellow will come to your counter, just have a look, these are his information. So the visa officer has all the information in front of him and he will look into the system and talk to you. So he will also try to match because truth is only one. What was true 6 months back or 4 months back should be true today. So therefore, especially about finances, So when he is talking about finances, who is going to fund you? Remember, my friends, you have to mention the name of the person whose papers have been sent. Suppose your father sent all the papers for your I-20, then you have to name him first. So when he asks the question, who is going to fund you? You cannot say parents, because you now maybe money is there in your mother's account also, but you will have to say my parents, primarily my father, because father's account has been sent at the time of, because in the system he will see father's papers. Now if you suddenly tell him my parents and stop there, then it is confusing him. So the truth is not matching. First you are saying father, now you are saying parents. You should not stop. You can say parents, primarily my father, because father's has papers have been sent. Suppose it is the other way around. You can say my mother, my parents, primarily my mother. Suppose your aunt, uncle have sent their papers, you must mention them at the time of talking about sponsors. So if he asks you who is your sponsor, you have to say my family, primarily my father and my uncle, primarily my father and my aunt. Whomsoever's papers have been sent have to be, so that if you don't say that, you will he will again doubt. He may not even tell you. फिर वो सोचेगा now somebody is sending the paper, somebody's name he is talking now. So it will confuse him. So he will attribute it to lie. He thinks you are lying, you are speaking untruth. So that is why it has to match. So truth matches, remember. Then the next thing is, see, one general question that people are scared of is, what do you want to do after your masters? So people think, we should never talk of staying back. We should always talk of coming back. So pat comes the reply, I want to come back to my country after I finish my masters. Well, he knows that this is blatant lie, and there he will take a decision to reject you. Okay. In one case, actually, the visa officer actually told that boy, you can stay back, sweetie. You don't have to come back really. उसने उसको मस्ती किया. So he says, so the visa, that boy said, I want to come back to my country. She replied, no, no, you can stay back, sweetie. You really don't have to come back. See, that was sarcasm, that she was taunting him actually. So this answer can be, again, here you live in the day of today and speak the truth. What is in your mind right now? Do you really want to come back? Are you really thinking that मेरा जैसे ही masters होता है मैं वापस आ जाऊंगा? That if you're thinking that way, it is not right. Because I think 99.9999% people are thinking, okay, I'll go take my masters and see what happens. If I get a job legally, I will work. If I don't, then I will see elsewhere. Are you really thinking of coming back? I don't think so. That is right. So say the same thing to the officer. Sir, after my masters, I would like to work in one of the best companies. Name the companies in your field. Name the companies where you would like to work. Dream companies ka naam bolo. If you're an IT person, say I want to work in the big four. If you're a finance person, talk about the finance companies you would like to work. If you're a pharmacy student, talk about Pfizer, talk about Novartis. So you say, I would like to work in big companies like so and so in the field of so and so. Whatever, as a design engineer, as a mechanical engineer, as a system analyst, or whatever you want to work as, you have to talk, or a data analyst or a business analyst, whatever you want to work as, you have to talk. And then he'll be like, where? Anywhere in the world, sir. You want to work in the US? Why not, sir? It's my privilege if I can work. So, see, remember, my friends, it is highly competitive. Today, he is not deciding whether you are going to come back or not. He is leaving you with a thought that, जाओ, लड़ो, आजमा के देखो अमेरिका, जीत गए तो रह जाओ, नहीं जीता तो वापस आओ. You getting me? This is his thought. So you don't put words, silly words like I'm going to come back and all. So he finds it a misfit. Your answer is a misfit. So you have to say, sir, I would like to work if I'm legally allowed to work there, sir. It will be my privilege. Therefore, remember, working there is a privilege that will be extended to you once circumstances change for the good. Circumstances changing means you have a master's in your hand, you have come out of a good college, your GPA is high, so there is a very good chance that you will get a job. Lakhs of students convert from student visa to H1 visa. So why do you want to not talk about it? So you can talk about it aram se. When you talk otherwise, he knows you're lying. When you talk of it naturally, he's not going to reject you. So this is how you have to talk. You have to remember that he is there to just listen to you, and if you make sense, you're getting your visa. Per period. And so even so this is one of the things that students make a mistake. They always say, I want to come back to my country. Why? Because there are a lot of opportunities in my country. So why are you going then? If there are so many opportunities, why are you going? So again, you're lying. And sometimes students say, I am the only son of my father. Then don't go. America will struggle without you. So this is what makes them, irritated, and they just reject the visa because somewhere they feel that you are lying. So you are making up. Even if you're not lying, you're making up a drama pesh kar rahe ho. Unko drama nahi chahiye. They want a very natural visa. Nowadays, I have heard that the visa officer actually tells the student, look, speak the truth, be normal, and give me perfect answers. Then he starts his visa. So see what all they are experiencing from the other side of the table. So they warn the student, don't come with a big drama here. You getting me? This is exactly what the visa is. And one more question that I really wanted to consider talking to you was about the finances. When the visa officer actually asks about finances, they want to know the holistic picture. They don't want to know. People keep going and saying, my father has 50 lakhs in his savings account, another 20 lakhs in his shares, and another fixed deposit of 25 lakhs. Don't give him such big breakups. You just give him 3-4 figures very nicely. You have to talk about the net worthiness of the family. For example, if I have, say, 4 crores worth properties, then I have about 1 crore worth FDs, cash balances, shares, etc. Then I can tell the officer that, sir, my family net worth is 5 crores, a little above 5 crores, out of which 1 crore is available in liquidity, such as cash balances, FDs, and PPF, etc. And 4 crores are in the form of 3 properties. So that's a good answer. So he gets a holistic idea, and there is an income of 50 lakhs in the family. So the visa officer is convinced that this family is financially affluent. So he will not talk more about the finances. This is how you have to talk. Give him holistic picture about the whole net worth of the family. So if he wants more details, he will definitely ask you questions. And one more thing is, don't insist on showing papers. He will ask for papers if he wants. He will ask you to give your bank passbook. He will ask you to give your income tax papers. You have to give that only when he requests you to do so. Don't give papers unnecessarily. He actually gets irritated because you're trying to please him. Don't try to please him. He gets very angry if anyone tries to please him. So this is how the visa. And then one more thing is, if you are not sure of the finance papers, if you are not sure, you can always excuse yourself and say, sir, I am a little confused. I would like to see my papers and talk to you. So you can take the papers out and see the papers and give the figures. Instead of being wrong, you can just pause for a minute, take out your papers yourself, read it, and then talk to him, because he doesn't expect you to know all the figures by heart. Okay, but you must remember these big figures like your father's income, your mother's income, and then the family income, and the net worth of the family, and what is available in the form of liquidity. And then he will come to one more question, whether you have a loan. If you have a loan, say yes. If you don't have a loan and it is getting processed, you don't need to talk about it, because the money in your summary statement is good enough. Of course, your counselor must have taken care to see that you have enough liquidity and enough monies to go through the visa easily. This is exactly what the visa is all about, my friends. Have no fear. First of all, be very confident. Be communicative. Communication is the key. How you articulate your answers will actually determine the result of this visa. You need to articulate it. You need not manipulate your answers. You need to articulate your answers, and that is the key to success. So if you know everything and you don't speak, that is also going to become a fiasco. If you know little and you speak too much, that is also a disaster. So speak what is required. But one thing is sure, self-confidence, belief in yourself, that you are a good student. Believe that you are a good student. If you now actually after this webinar, you should actually sit and introspect whether this 45 lakhs or 40 lakhs that you are going to spend is worth it. If the answer is no, don't go. If the answer is yes, I'm sure you will get your visa. So my friends, again, one last thing that I wanted to cover here is, many people ask me this question, whether it is the right time to go for higher studies. My answer is yes, because people are worried about the political and social climate and everything. Don't worry. That has nothing to do. That is political. We have nothing to do. So that country works on meritocracy. Means if you're meritorious, you are wanted there. So you are allowed to try. If you're really good, honest, and meritorious, you will be rewarded regardless of what is going on around in other spheres. So immigrants are very much welcome, contrary to what you believe. So let's hope and wish that everything works well for ourselves, provided you are geared up and you are bracing up to take up the tough challenge that you're trying to get into. It's a big challenge. Remember, my friends, with your visa in your hand, the umbrella from above your head of your parents, the parents have protected you all this while. With the visa in your hand, you are now out of that umbrella and fully exposed. ऊपर सिर्फ आसमान है, नीचे जमीन, और कोई नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है आपको सपोर्ट करने के लिए. You have to support yourself. And if you feel you are, brave enough to bravery is a spirit. It is from within. You may be a thin, lanky fellow, but you may be very brave. And then there are big, giant-like people, but they're not brave. So if you have the strength from within and you tell yourself that come what may, मैं जीत के ही बताऊंगा. Actually, yesterday I was reading somewhere that winners are those who take the risk when they're not ready for it. Getting me? Winners are those who take the risk when they're not ready for it. So, what is making you take that risk? That bravery from within, that courage from within, that आने दे मैं देख लेता हूँ. So that kind of spirit if you have, and you go and talk to the officer with that kind of countenance on your face and your eyes, then I think he will get it right. He's reading you. He's seeing your body language. He's seeing the words you're using. So he's going to approve your visa. I think this is what the visa is all about and nothing more. If you believe yourself, the visa is yours. Okay, my friends, I think it's 11:42 now, and I will now go in for the question answer sessions. There are many other things, and if you feel the need to talk to me more, you can always write to me, and we are here to help you. So you can send me an email. I will definitely help you. So I think we can go for the question answer sessions. Please type your questions and I will be able to answer them for you verbally. Yeah. Thank you so much. I hope this was useful. And please write your comments about how you felt, what you felt about the seminar. And we will be happy to conduct many more webinars for you. Now, Deepak M wants to know if it is necessary to get an affidavit if our parents are sponsoring us. No, not necessary. There is no need of any affidavit for the visa. Remember, we need no affidavits for the visa because the very fact that they are giving you the original papers shows that they are your sponsors. Okay? Is it good? Shubham wants to know, is it good to go for an undergrad studies as a transfer student, as I will complete 15 years of schooling? Now, a transfer is a tricky case. Now, that is very important because if you finish 15 years in India and you try to go, I am very convinced that they will tell you that 16th year is missing, but you will have to, it will take you more than 2 years to finish a degree from there. So you have to talk to the university and find out how many transfers they are giving and then take a call accordingly. Don't go without getting in writing as to how many transfers they are going to give, how many credit transfers they are going to give. So the next question is, my mother Vishi, 1 minute. Can you just ये इसको बड़ा कैसे करने का? All these questions are so small. How do I see? See here. The questions are very small. Ask him, na? So another boy wants to know, Anita. Anita says, my mother is sponsoring me, who is retired, a senior manager. I have my father, who is a businessman. Can I talk about his funds? Also, my brother are working in the US. Do I need to mention about them? Well, Anita, if there is no harm talking about your father and your brothers in the US. Okay, I don't think it should be a problem. You have to mention it in your DS 160 also, and also while talking to the officer. Then the another question is, ma'am, I have scheduled my visa interview on June 8th and it is scheduled as International Student Visa Day. Will that day have any effect on acceptance rates of visas on that day? No, there is no effect whatsoever. Just that you will have no other categories of visa there. Only students. That is just to ease out the rush. They have a lot of students these days.
Questions. Yeah, one second. Okay, now I got it. Got it. Yeah, fine, thank you.
Now, another question from, one second. Another question from Sagar Kurana says, ma'am, I have taken my GRE and I'm applying for an MBA in business school in Boston. Does the interviewer care about taking GRE or GMAT? No, there will be no problem whatsoever, because what he wants to know, if the school is accepting a GRE instead of a GMAT, he's fine with it. Now another question from Deepak is, I graduated in 2016, have not been working since. How do I approach this question if asked? So you have to talk, Deepak, please don't use the word I am unemployed, I am not working or something like that. You have to say that I graduated and I have been doing short courses which will help me in my further studies. So I did not want to join any job because they wanted me to sign a contract which I was not ready to take in since I was going for higher education. Okay. Now the next question is, I wanted to know, Sanya Goyal says, I wanted to know, I have taken a loan from HDFC Credila. Do I also need an emphasis that my parents are sponsoring me along with the loan? Yes, Sanya, this is very important question. If loan is the only source of funding, there is 100% chance that the visa will get rejected. You have to show them that besides the loan, your father and mother also have a few things to support you. Please take care of this question, everybody. Don't give them the feeling that loan is the only source of funding. It will give them the impression that you will stay back because loan is the only way to fund you. So you have no other money. So that means your financial situation is not so good. So you will stay back to earn that money. Therefore, the visa might get rejected. You have to, that's a very good question, Sanya. You have to show that your parents are also there along with the loan from Credila. So another Akansha Tiwari wants to know all the questions asked for F1 visa and how to answer them for MS in computer engineering. I have discontinued my studies for 2 years after 12th. No, I'm sorry. So Akansha, after listening to me for 45 minutes, if you are asking me this question, that means you have not heard anything. How can I give you all the questions? I can only build up the case and give you that confidence. I cannot give you all these questions. If you need all the questions and the answers for them, I think you have not learnt anything from this discussion. I'm sorry. I cannot give you any questions. Next is Shubhangi Jingade says, I have discontinued my studies for 2 years after 12th. Then I am doing my BBA. Will this affect my visa? Well, you will have to explain to the officer why you had discontinued your 2 years, and if he accepts it, it's fine. Generally, they see continuity in a student to be proved as a genuine student. Naveen Kumar asks, I am taking loan and will be showing all the funds from my salary account and then my PF. So whom should I tell as sponsor? When to talk about my parents? So you can talk about so you have to say majorly I will be funding it myself through my salary which I have accumulated over the years and also some PF that I have, plus I have also taken a loan, then I have my parents to back me up. This is how your answer will be. Now the next question from Dheeraj Hinduja. My father is sponsoring my education. He runs a business for 48 years now. However, his earning is not filed properly. So I am eligible for a loan. What will I need to tell the interviewer if he asks me about my father's finances? For I-20, I will be showing the loan fixed deposit. For August intake, it is okay. So he asks, he wants to know if the income tax papers are good. See, I'll tell you, income tax papers have to be good if you want your visa. So make sure your father puts his papers in place before you go for the visa. The next is, Shubhangi wants to know, for August intake, is it a good idea to take a date before or after 25th June? No, I don't think so. You have to try to finish it in the month of June itself. Okay. Right. Now, any more questions, please? Okay. Now, Akansha says, no. Sania Goyal says, thanks, ma'am. Will be okay to mention my parents' net worth, which includes bank statements, investments, and assets in terms of property. Yes. Yes, Sania. You can, this is exactly how you have to talk when he asks you financial questions. All right. Now, please write in a few words, guys, what you felt about the whole thing. Did you like it? How did it help you? Please tell me. Akansha, your question to me is, how many times can I apply for the visa? There is no limit on that, but I would like you to apply only once and take your visa. Why should be, what should be, Mridang Trivedi says, why should be my, what should be my answer if I am asked, why only US? US definitely is the destination when it comes to advanced studies and research and, development. So I have chosen US. It comes number one. So Chandrasekhar says, my father is a farmer. How should I answer my visa officer? So you can show non-taxable income and his, agriculture papers and talk to him about it. Okay. Now Akansha says, ma'am, okay, that is done. Shubhangi says, this is a very informative seminar. So Sinduri Raj says, what if he asks me, why don't you pursue MBA in your own country and why other country? Well, you can always answer him that US is a potpourri of culture and diversity. So my learning will be, in the midst of people from all over the world. So I have chosen US. If I'm here, I will definitely get a good exposure, but I think the exposure in the US is much better. Don't put your country down. You put their country up. Okay? Yeah. Dheeraj Hinduja says, thanks a ton. This was incredibly helpful. Thanks again. Okay. Chandrasekhar says, this webinar definitely helped me. Akansha's question is, if my parents are sponsoring, what documents my parents am I supposed to show to all the financial papers and their income tax papers, Akansha? Okay, Sinduri Raj wants to know my email ID. My email ID is saraswati@gyanfoundation.com. Saraswati, SARASWATI, Saraswati@gyanfoundation.com. Got it? Sinduri, did you get my email ID? Okay. Ashwin Shankar. My father does not have any IT, but my mother does. I have shown my education loan as proof of funding. My parents have sufficient funds of liquidity and other assets. Is my father's absence of IT going to problem? No. No, it's not a matter. If your mother's income tax papers are there, you should talk about it. And if other things are okay, there should be no problem with the visa. Okay. Now, Devavrata Bunia says, my mail ID is so and so. The seminar is incredibly helpful. All right. Anita Prasad says, thank you, ma'am. The webinar was really useful. Right. All right. We have 2 more minutes to go. Let's see if any more questions come up. Thank you, guys, for being there. And let me know through my email if I can help you. Now, Sagar Khurana says, till morning, I had a few questions about prerequisites for visa process. But thank you for the extremely informative and supportive session. Thank you very much. Now, Sanya Goyal says, thank you. Thank you for your time and this informative session. Akansha says the webinar was very useful. Pramod, why are you putting a question mark? Mridang says, if my father is sponsoring me and is retired, does share investment, how should I answer? Well, the answer to your question is, you have to say that, my father has retired now, but he is dealing in shares. And talk about what kind of shares he has, how much is the savings, how much is, how much is going to spend for you, how much is there in the bank account. You have to talk accordingly. Okay, Dheeraj says, apologies for not knowing much about GAN Foundation before. Could you please tell me more about your services? Yes, Dheeraj, we are here to help you. You can reach us, look up at our website www.gyanfoundation.com, and you can get in contact with us if you really need more help. Now, Naveen says the webinar was 100% useful. Pramod Thombre wants to know if scholarships can be shown. Definitely, you can show. Definitely, scholarships are the best ways to handle things. Okay, Mridang says, thank you so much, ma'am, for your support, and thanks for Credila for organizing this webinar. Thank you, Mridang.